Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome back to Ultramax IT. So as our very first video was getting introduced to Ultramax IT, so we had seen that Ultramax IT is into various IT training since 1996. So we also are into Red Hat training, we are into Python programming, we are into R programming, Power BI, Tableau. So this was just a brief introduction last time, which we all got introduced to Ultramax IT. So today we are going to specifically move to understand about just brief SAS program. So looking at this, please note our website, which is www.ultramaxit.com. You can connect to us through Facebook, through Twitter, through LinkedIn, through YouTube channel, through Instagram. And of course, this is what you have been highlighted with the email as well as the contact details. So let's get introduced to SAS by showing you an SAS environment. I would be very pleased to show this programming environment, which is a cloud application from SAS, and it's the student edition, which anyone throughout your 24 clicking clock, 24 hours clicking clock, anywhere into the world, sitting into any geographical conditions, this cloud application of SAS programming can be accessed by the beginners, by the learners, by the students, by the professionals, by the trainers. So yes, here it is. So let me give you an introduction to SAS Studio. As I said, it's a programming environment. It's a cloud application. So it has three windows, which is code, log, and results. So code is the window where you write the code, log in the window where you check about the code, instructions, how it is been executed. If you have any errors, warnings, it comes into log window and a result window. Okay, so to begin with, so I'm going to start with a new program window. So here it is how it comes as programming window with code, log, and results. So within the code, one can type the program. So if you look into this, let's understand SAS coding, how it starts. Okay. So SAS coding actually is nothing but a process where we are including about the various steps of programs into SAS. And mostly in SAS, the SAS programming revolves around two steps. Okay. So the first step is your data step. So we can have a data step. And the second step, which we are going to learn, is about the prop step. So what is this data and this prop step? So data is the step where one can create a new data file, or we can term it as, you can also term it as table. Just because it is into SAS, we call it as SAS table. All right. And of course, you can also term it, because it's into SAS environment, we call it a term called as SAS data set. So it's very much important to understand this terminology. It's termed as SAS data set. Okay. And what is a proc step? Proc step is a step where one can perform the procedure on existing data. So it's like we can perform a procedure on existing. All good. So why the term existing data is? It's because when I'm going to have this procedure done for a specific procedure called as proc print, print is nothing but listing the data. I write proc, I write print, I use data equal to, and suppose I write it as some data, suppose it's data called as class info. Okay. And I run this and I execute this by submitting this running man figure on top of your code. So this is where we are getting a cross sign on your editor window of program. So when you look into your log, it's telling this file work.class info is not existent. So what does it mean? So though this is a proc step of printing the results into result window, but it's not finding this data set because as we term, this procedure term or procedure step is predominantly used on existing data. So if this data is not available, we have to make it available into the environment. So how to make this data available into environment is we can start creating a data by typing in the values where we'll be creating rows and columns. So how to create a data? So we had got introduced to this data step. So let's understand by writing data step. I want to create a data named as class underscore input. Got it? So I'm going to create this data. So because the table data means it's a table structure, it's going to be structured columns with it's a structured table with rows and columns. So we have to create those columns. We are going to input those columns. Hence, we write this input statement, and we have to create the columns called row, number, name, and of course age. Okay. So every statement in your coding of SAS, it ends with semicolon. It's very important to end the statements with semicolons. It's similar like your any language like English or any other language where the statement ends with full stop, same goes here. Now, when we have given the column names, we have to give the rows. So the rows in data is being provided with this keyword called as data lines. So as per this order of columns, will start typing the roll number, name, and age in the specific sequence of your columns. So let's give in a specific order. So I give this name. So I have this name called Anil. His age is suppose 17. I'm giving, of course, this is not a statement. These are data values. Those hence I'm not ending this with semicolon. So now I'm going to write another name which is suppose her age is 16. Then I may have in serial order of your roll numbers. I may have Dinesh as a name and his age is suppose 17. Let's put all the values in specific order sequence. I mean, so let's have another data value called as Sangeeta. Her age is 17. All good. So these are some of the class students and their age groups, okay, or age in a specific class. Of course, we know not all the students will be of same age, one or less here and there, the age. So I may have a fifth row been added. So I'm adding another value. Suppose his name is Jinesh and he is of the age of 16. So after typing all the rows for your columns, I'm going to end it with semicolon at the end, and I'm going to end my step with run. So now I'm going to select this and submit it with the submit button of Running Man. And this is where I find now there is a new tab of output window, output data window. Earlier we did not have. So this is where the table actually opens in the tab called as output data. So you find all the three columns have come. You find the values have come for row number. There are 5 rows, age, but there is no values for name. But if you see this table at the left hand side is telling about the column details. So it is the column attributes in short. So when I click this roll number at the bottom, you can see in SAS Studio. So this is only in SAS Studio you have this flexibility. Otherwise, there is another way to check the attributes of your columns by writing a procedure. So I'll show you in short. So it's telling this is your column name. It's having how many lines. Its type is by default numeric. Same goes with name. Now name, the values are character, but still it's taking as numeric. Why? Because we have not asked or said SAS that this column is going to be character. By default, SAS reads these columns to be created as numeric. Hence, to differentiate that the values for this column name is character, I'm going to assign or I'm going to give an instruction of a dollar sign in front of a column name, which will take this values as character. Now, when I re-execute this data step again, you will find that these values of name are now appearing. If you check, the values are all coming in apt values. So now I have this data. So when you let's check the log. So when you check the log here, you find this data has been created, and this is telling there are 5 observations and 3 variables. All good? Now let's use this from print to check your results about this list output. So this is where you see the roll number, name, age, observation columns. This is its roll numbers, its names, and its age. So this is how now you will see that your data is being created, and this is the list output by using your profile. Got it? So this is how, in short, I just gave you a gist about how one can write a data step and how one can process a data set once it has been created. So these are the 2 steps predominantly in SAS programming, which you will be learning and you'll be using it as a SAS programmer. It's very simple and very interesting programming language, which is a 4th generation, because as you saw that when I was typing, it was giving me the various procedures, what are there into the system, which one can use to process your data. So therefore, it's a predefined procedures which are already there in your environment. And that's why SAS is also termed as 4th generation programming language. So this is in short, just to understand for you people to get acquainted about this programming environment. Here is this new video. More about this data step now, how to read an external file without creating a data by typing into it, but you already have a data, but how you can build it into SAS, that we'll see into our next edition of our video. But till date, this is what just a introduction about data step and a prop step. So stay tuned for a next edition of coding, or you can always get connected to us by connecting or visiting our website, calling us on our number, connecting social media, as well as writing to our email to get to know about more in detail about our upcoming batches, about our various training programs, about our various events. So stay tuned and get connected with us for more information along with the new excited edition of a new video in the next week. So till then, stay happy, stay safe, and be connected. Take care. Bye.